For those of you who know me well, and many of you do, I'm about to cause some trouble, and you're used to it. I think it's what you like about me most. Yeah, I'm hoping that's true. So the good news is good news, bad news, good news. The good news is I think we're right now facing the most exciting opportunity in human history. That's pretty cool. That's good news. Now, I'm going to tell this as a detective story, and you heard Barrett talking about pattern recognition and so forth, and so this is, these are real detective stories. When we do these things, we find out what was the national business model of China, and we tell people in Washington, and then things happen. So it isn't like a game for us. These things are very, very real, and we've spent most of our lifetime doing it. So for those of you who are new, welcome to the party, but that's how we roll. And we're quite serious about these things. This isn't just like an opinion piece. We really care. John Carlin will tell you we really care. He was on 60 Minutes talking all about what Evan had done, what we had done. So tonight we have a new one. And here's the detective story. This is literally how it happened, because people often say, how do you do this pattern work? Well, here's how. I was doing an interview of a very smart guy named Peter Wadhams. Peter Wadhams looks like the professor in Jurassic Park. He's the same age, he has those round glasses, he's very cheerful, always cheerful. He can tell you your mother is dying, he'll tell you in a really cheerful way. And so that's his demeanor. And I was interviewing him for a TV show, and we talked for an hour. And we're talking about, he is the world's expert, by the way, on ice. Glacier ice, melting ice, sea level, all that stuff. And so Peter's going on and on about this and that. And about halfway through this, I said, wait a minute, Peter. From what you're saying to me, it strikes me that it's possible that the old things we're worrying about are the wrong things. And that maybe what's happening or about to happen is that individual trends that we were worried about are interacting with each other, creating these super problems, these mega disasters. And that we should be thinking about that because nobody's put that together yet. We don't have models that are doing that yet. And I said, is that your understanding? He goes, oh, yes, Mark. And he's smiling the whole time. And I said, well, okay, Peter, if that's going to happen, are these really like mega? And he goes, oh, absolutely, yes. And he's smiling. And I go, oh, Peter, well, what time frame are you thinking of? Is it like 100 years or 50 years or, no, it's 5 years. And I'm like, what? 5? That's tonight. That's like as we leave the room here. And he goes, well, as a matter of fact, in Siberia, the tundra is melting from global warming, and then that creates these holes, and then methane comes out, and they blow up. No one saw that coming. And if you fly over Siberia, you'll see all these holes because it's blowing up all the time. And I didn't know that. So I'm thinking, this guy's onto something. So the result of that conversation was, it woke me up. Part of the pattern deal is you have to have the first hit. That was my first hit. And I thought, now I'm going to look for this. Are we actually going to have these problems that nobody had been waiting for, where two things kind of cross over and create something that was unexpected? And the answer is yes. We're having them now. I call them mega events. You can call them anything you want to. But these are happening now. They're not happening 5 years from now. They're happening now. Now, the good news is, and this is probably why you're all here tonight, we figured it out, and we figured out the answer. We spent 2 years looking at the problems, and we figured out, and I'll come back to this in a minute, but we actually have an answer. So I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you the good news. There is an answer. There is a way to avoid all this stuff I'm talking about. And it's going to be important. There's a catch. We have to work on it right now. For some people, that's bad news. If you're in the oil companies business, that's bad news. But we have to work on this right now. And we have to work on it intensively right now. Not when we're ready, not when we're happy, not when it's convenient. We have to really work on it right now. And if we do that intensively for 5 years, we're done. We are done. And we call this, surprisingly, 5 and done. So imagine that we actually did, and this is where the imagination is hard to do, that we actually did the right thing, the smart thing, and we did it for 5 years. We're done with this. We don't have to worry about our children and their children's children and their psychology and their depression and why they won't have kids and why they will and what we should do about, our part and all. Forget all that. We're done. We can go buy Cadillacs and drive around the world and have fun. So this is a really interesting moment in this problem. I'll come back to how interesting it gets. I would like to, with all due respect, suggest that the IPCC, which if you're in this world of climate change, you know what that is. They're the guys who brought you the 1.5 degrees centigrade worry thing. That's the dumbest damn thing I can think of. You know what people don't care about? That. If you're trying to scare people, you failed, buddy. And it gets a lot worse than that. So I'm just going to rant here for a minute. 1.5 centigrade is a temperature. Now, without getting too technical, by the way, I did you guys a big favor. I was going to talk about physics for 5 minutes. I pulled that out of the whole thing tonight. So you may have seen me on the chat. That's gone. There's no physics. But I will mention that temperature and energy are not the same. And anybody who's been to, 101 science knows the difference, and they are not the same. Trying to threaten the world with a temperature is the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. I think my friend Dennis would stand up for me on this one because he and I have talked about how important it is to measure energy, not temperature. Anyhow, so they picked the wrong thing to begin with, and then they picked the wrong way to talk about it. Don't talk about 1.5 versus 2.0 versus 2.25 or 2. No one cares. Tell them that their house is going to burn down and their children will die in the fire. Now they're paying attention. Paradise, California. Santa Rosa, California. Lahaina, talk about things that mean something to people. Your whole island in Greece will burn to the ground. And they'll have to evacuate people with C-130s with 2 hours notice. How do you feel about that? Not good. How long did it take Lahaina to burn? About 10 minutes, really. The rest of it was like 10 hours, but really a few minutes. So these things are happening around us. Our challenge this week at Fire 23 and in the CTO challenge is to find the best way to implement this new solution we've got and to take action. That's what I hope to encourage you all to think about today, which we'll come back to tomorrow again with a different approach to how to do all this. I want to tell you, though, that I have high confidence in this. Whatever Barrett was saying about prediction, I'm pretty good at it. And there's always a gut check at the end. I really believe this is an accurate call. I think it's accurate. Predictions have, in my world, they have meaning. They have an amount, a real number attached to them. They have a time, and they have an impact. And if you don't include those things, you're just expressing an opinion. But I'm trying to tell you now, I am standing behind this prediction. I really have high confidence that what I'm telling you this evening is true. And it's a real opportunity, and it's also a real problem. So it's not about what party do you belong to. I couldn't care less. I would say, if you belong to any party that tells you that for political reasons, ignore this problem, change parties. Find a new one, create a new one, because we can't afford any more of that kind of stuff. That human funny stuff, we've got to be done with that. It's going to be up to many of us this week to start working on overcoming the hurdles between where the world finds itself tonight during Fire 23 and when we get together again at Fire 28. That's our job. If you accept that, this is your mission. When the thing burns up and turns to smoke, that's our mission. We get back here in 5 years and we check out how did we do. Our greatest challenge in this, I think you will all agree, is how to engage the human mind. It's not technical. It's nothing to do with technology. It's human. How to engage the human mind. Now, here are some interesting things that I think you will all agree with. People, it turns out, tend to resist change. It is often said to be the most basic of human instincts, resisting change. It gets worse, right? So you may have noticed, we do not easily notice gradual change. Boiling the frog. We just don't notice. Well, it's actually worse than that. We humans are also finding it hard to grasp nonlinear change versus linear change. Our brains weren't made for that. In the cave, it was never nonlinear. It was always linear. So now we don't have a brain that works on nonlinear change. But wait, there's more. How about two linear changes interacting? Pretty bad at that. Oh, wait, there's more than that. How about multiple nonlinear changes interacting? Oh, this is very, very hard for a human brain to grasp. There's more, though. What's even worse? How about gradual, multiple, nonlinear changes interacting, even with massive, shocking, discontinuous impact? Oh, we don't have a chance. We're just humans. But that's what we're facing right now. So it's going to be hard for us, as we talk about the CTO challenge and what we should do, to engage with normal, nice, kind human beings, because their brains probably can't do this. And it's going to be hard to have that conversation. Simon's laughing. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Australia's a lot like America that way. So in order for this solution to work, it will need to satisfy, now here's part of the research we did, right? Here's our research. It will need to satisfy all of the following simultaneous equations. You math majors know what that means. A, this thing must address global energy. Energy is the top line item here. Can't go for anything. Energy. Number two, A, B, it must start now in order to reduce the impact and cost of mega disasters. We can't wait longer because we want to, or because it's okay because Mom said it was Elon wrote a piece about this not too long ago, which was pretty well received, but very quietly, where he tried to look at the financial cost of waiting. And he was saying, like, do it by 2035 or 2040. And it was like, well, it's $1 trillion more each time, each 5 years. He has no idea. And we have no idea. But when you go from linear single to nonlinear interacting multiple, he doesn't know and I don't know. Anyone who tries to put a number on this in terms of dollars, they're wrong. But it can't be a small number. It's going to be the biggest number you ever heard in your life. I just don't know how to name that number. I do have, here's Larry's here today. I have the Larry number, which I made up after Larry Smart and I did a road trip. And the Larry number is when the sea rise destroys all the valuable coastal properties in the world. And that financial damage alone is the Larry number. And that's a really big number. But I'm talking about something way beyond the Larry number. So that would be, it also must be achievable in 5 years. And it must use proven off-the-shelf technology. And E, it must replace debate, dither, and delay with action. And F, it must fit the needs of all the people on all the continents. Everybody. And finally, G, it must include China's involvement. No China, no deal. Doesn't matter what we do if China doesn't get on board. They've got to stop burning coal tomorrow, and we've got to help them do that. All right, so we have a solution. We call the solution Plan A global solar solution. Here it is, and it's pretty straightforward. Number one, build out nothing but solar worldwide at a massive increase in scale for 5 years. And I could just stop there. That's the deal. B, start now. Number three, C, D, Number three, do whatever is needed to accelerate and support the entire solar supply chain from batteries to grid. That's where we make all of our money. That's why this is such an exciting opportunity. The amount of money to be made here is also unfathomable. It's huge. It's absolutely wonderful. And everyone here can get a piece of it if you're interested. There will be no lack of things to invest in or to do as work. If you're interested in doing this, get on board. 4, use profitability, and this is particularly with respect to Dennis, who's about to tell you a lot about this. Use profitability to drive bottom-up change. And my favorite, number 5, use excitement, not fear, to recruit others to the cause. This has got to be fun. This has got to be exciting and uniting, and everybody gets to play a part. And we're so proud we did later, we'll tell our grandkids. This has to be something where you wave the flag and put on a t-shirt and you have fun all Saturday doing something you love. This has got to be something which you're proud of, and you're not doing it out of fear. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and it's so clear to you that it's the right thing to do. You're just having the time of your life. That's the way I think we have to do this. The hell with the IPCC. Have it be exciting, beautiful, and I'll do it. Thanks, Ben. And then number 6, evangelize the beauty of 5 and done. Just imagine having solved this problem in a mere 5 years. It's not 100 years, it's 5 years. That, we all know, that goes by in the blink of an eye. If 5 years from now in 28 we could sit here again together and go, well, that worked, whew, what an amazing moment we'll have. And it's like visualizing world peace. You really have to visualize something if you want it to be true. And you can visualize that this would actually work. It's not complicated, it's just hard. So yes, it is nearly impossible. And yes, it can actually work. And the CTO challenge will help us discover how to do it. And my final thought is, we have nothing at all to lose by trying, and everything to lose by not trying. So my last final thought is, why plan A? As you've seen, because there is no planet B. My good friend Dennis, he and I see a lot of things in the same way. Not always the same way, but very close. And one of the things we see very close is this 5-year idea. And we've been talking on the phone, by email, and so forth. So we were in tight alignment on this. And I'm so excited, Dennis, to have you back with us. Those who were with us this is a pretty elite club. Two times opening night speaker. There are only like 3 people who got that. Dennis is one as of tonight. So to talk about energy breakthroughs and underlying profitable solutions for the climate. Now, Dennis, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but you used a word, and knowing you, I think you did it on purpose. This is called, it's not an emergency, it's an energency with an N. So I'll just let him tell me later if that wasn't a mistake. Outgoing chief scientist, NASA Langley Research Center, all-around climate systems savant, who will share 5 ways to profitably mitigate climate change at scale in the next 5 years. Dennis Bushnell, come on up.